Hey, coffee cuties, we are back with another banger. And today we are back with another reaction video where I give my raw and unfiltered opinion about viral topics surrounding coolly natural hair. And today we definitely have a banger indeed because this is kind of like a part two to the trimming series following the video that I did where the creator, the natural hair influencer, was attempting to go after the Guinness World Record for the biggest afro, but unfortunately was sabotaged by her hairstylist who cut off way too much hair. I'm definitely going to have that video linked down below so you can see where I'm coming from. But in this video, we're going to have the opinion from a stylist who basically makes the claim that a trim and a haircut is the same thing. And if you're going to sit in their chair, if you want to trim but you need a haircut, you're going to get a haircut. And if you wanted a haircut and you just need a trim, you're going to get a trim. Basically implying they are the professional, they make the rules for their chairs. So let's just get right into it. So first, we're going to go ahead and pull up the video that went super viral surrounding the subject, over 2 million views. So I actually think that the video is a sound, a viral sound, and I actually think the stylist is a Black woman. But you can leave down below if I'm correct or incorrect. But nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and react to what the sound is saying, give some commentary, and read some comments. So let's just get into some things. First, we're going to put them on full screen actually and get right into it.
A trim is a haircut. A haircut is a trim. If I pick up my shears, it's a haircut. Only people who've been to school will understand, and then even some of y'all act like y'all don't understand. Now, I'm not the one that's going to do all this back and forth with y'all about what need to be cut, what don't need to be cut. If I said it needed to be cut, it needed to be cut. And if you're sitting in this chair, this is what we're doing. I'm the professional. You might have a license, but you obviously came over here because you wanted me to do it. You wanted me to maintain it. You wanted me to handle it. And as far as I'm concerned, if you want to look like anything that I present online or in my portfolio, then you want to cut all these dead ass ends off. Okay? And why don't nobody ever want to talk about the fact that I don't want you sitting in my chair if you want to hold on to dead ass hair? I'm going to say it. Because if you holding on to dead ass hair and you that attached to it, what else in your life are you holding on to and bringing up into the salon and dropping off for me to have to clean up when y'all leave? Not interested in it, sweetheart. So if you're not interested in ridding yourself of the baggage and the dead stuff that's trying to hold itself, attach itself to your life, then don't come over here. Hey,
All right. So, what are your opinions about what the stylist, even if that is her own words or just the sound, the viral sound? Nevertheless, this is what she's standing behind as she is showing that that is how she chooses to perform her services in her chair. So, first, I do want to say that I actually agree with the fact that if it is your chair and you're the stylist, you're the professional, and someone is choosing to sit in your chair, you make the rules. So, that is why the customer, we need to do the proper vetting so we can know what we are getting into and decide if that is the right fit for us. And also advocating for ourselves, really asking the right questions during the consultation will be things that will determine if you are a good match with your stylist or not. But when it comes to whether or not a trim and a haircut is the same thing, I never thought that that was the case because typically when you kind of get a silk press or something like that and you get a couple, maybe like 1/4 of an inch off, that's maybe $10 to $15 depending on the stylist. It could be more. But when you want a full on haircut, like you're going to the salon to get a haircut like a style, that is a completely different charge in a completely different category. Leave down below, as I am not a professional, so I don't know if I got this right or got this wrong. I don't know what is taught in hair school and what is not. But again, I never heard the phrase that a trim and a haircut is the same thing. So even though I personally do prioritize health over length, that wouldn't be the stylist for me because we kind of have just different perspectives about what a trim versus what a haircut is. So I just wouldn't want to go and be under the notion that I'm getting one thing and then walk out with another. I would like to be able to communicate and be on the same page. So, like I said, this is up to each individual stylist as they can make their own rules, as there's no right or wrong answer because some people do prioritize length over health. But in this community, I do like to push the narrative that health is the priority. And sometimes you do need a honest stylist that's going to be able to really assess your hair, and maybe you will have to take off more than what you bargained for initially. And if you are really on a healthy hair journey, I would definitely recommend that. That's why I say I'm not against it, but I'm just against the fact that we don't have a clear understanding of what one is versus the other. But let's go ahead and get out of this video and read a few comments and see what the community has to say. So someone else said, scissor happy, a hairdresser. Someone else said health over length. So someone will be more in line with the stylist. So, and then someone else said, if the ends are see-through, they need to go. So it is some people that are prioritizing the health of the hair over the length. So that is great. Someone said that was too much. And then it says, dang, see, this is why I stopped going to hairdressers. And then someone else said, I will cry. OMG. So yes, I do know when it comes to Black women and getting a haircut or a trim, it could definitely be a very traumatic experience. And that is why, unfortunately, there is a lot of distrust when it comes to hairdressers and then the customers. So hopefully with these conversations we can kind of bridge this gap, and I feel like that's why we need to have proper understandings about this vocabulary. So like trims, we need to understand what that is according to you and find a stylist that matches that. Haircuts, all the above. So someone else said, I think it's also safe to say, hey, this is how much we're cutting, are you ready for that? I agree with that too. I definitely think there should be open communication between the customer and the hairdresser. So let's say this customer was not aware, which you should be, of this hairdresser and their thought process about haircuts and trims being the same thing and whatever's unhealthy gotta go. I feel like that it is kind of the stylist's responsibility to let the customer know before you just go chopping off 10 plus inches of hair, even 5 inches of hair, even 2 inches of hair. You should be able to communicate that and let the customer make that decision. And if that is not aligned with what you feel like will be a proper representation of your work and your care, then you could just turn down that customer and have them go to someone else where they are more properly aligned. But next, I was just scrolling through TikTok and I seen a couple other videos of stylists just giving their trims or haircuts and everything in between. So it's just really continuing the conversation about what is a trim versus what is a haircut. So we're going to see a stylist going in with a particular customer. We're just going to watch it on mute because it is music. So do you feel like, look at how much she's cutting off, is this the appropriate length? Is it too much? Leave down below, would you consider this a trim or a haircut? It clearly looks to be maybe about a good four, maybe, yeah, about 4 inches coming off. Would you be comfortable with this? Because as we can see, her hair, this is not the case of someone, it seems, with fine hair where you may experience some of those see-through ends, similar to a video that I addressed in the past. This seems like that may actually be damaged hair. So if your hair was in that state, where would you tell the stylist to stop? And then what would you consider to be a trim versus a haircut? Leave your opinions down below. But we're going to go ahead and let the video ride out before we read a few comments. So I will say her hair definitely does look a lot more healthier. Unfortunately, she still does have that gap in her hair, but hopefully over time, getting, with her hairstylist and coming up with a plan to get rid of that, hopefully her hair will be completely back healthy. But let's see what the comments have to say. So someone said she should have just cut all that mess off. Does she know that those ends can split all the way up to the root? So there's someone who is explaining the possible side effects of not getting your full proper trim, or as the first grader said, haircut, whatever you want to call it. So yes, that is true. That hair can travel up the hair shaft and cause a lot more damage than what you are already facing. Someone else said, what causes this and what's to stop this from happening again? See, I don't know what caused it with this girl in particular, but there are so many things that can cause it. Braids, just, all that sewing, all of those quote unquote protective styles, leaving that stuff in too long, not properly taking care of your hair, not properly detangling, using too tight styles, ponytails can cause it. There's so many things that can cause that. So leave down below if I left something out. But the last comment said, did you show her how bad it was? So I'm curious to know that as well. But it seems like, the customer clearly that's what she wanted, or at least we have not seen any rebuttal videos saying, hey, she cut off too much hair. So hopefully the customer is happy because, like I said, her hair did, in fairness, look a lot more healthy. But lastly, I'm going to play a random video that I seen from a creator who I'm under the assumption is not any type of professional, but she is just giving her perspective about trims. So I am going to have this one on mute as well because it is music. So she is basically saying, hair growth tip: trim your hair a little bit after every wash. So do you agree with that practice, trimming your hair after every wash? Personally, I feel like if you get a proper trim, primarily, hopefully from a professional, you should not have to trim after every wash. That is a lot. But leave down below, how often are you getting your trims and what do you consider to be OD or too much? So let's see what some comments have to say. So it says, and make sure it's the Japanese steel shears or you'll be causing more damage. So, yes, if you're cutting your hair, trimming your hair at home, you definitely need to be using the proper scissors in order to do that. So, someone else said, I'm going to be bald headed. I get scissor happy. So, yes, it definitely seems excessive. And I think if you went to a professional, you hopefully would not have to be trimming that often. So, someone else said, every wash, every week, I'll be bald. Then someone else said, I'm about to, my ends are always weird and with fairy knots. So yeah, if you're experiencing knots, things like that, then you may be due for a trim. But again, I'm not sure if every wash would be the appropriate solution to that. I would definitely recommend seeing some type of professional because clearly you're maybe not being able to deal with your hair on your own in a proper way. You can also get on things like YouTube University and just kind of see the perspective of people and how they deal with it as well. But ultimately, if you're having those type of troubles and you're not figuring out solutions, you should see a professional, but a trustworthy professional that you are aligned with and you're on the same page about your hair goals and the way that they identify what a trim is versus a haircut, and making sure that you are okay with all of that, and making sure that if you are going to go to a stylist that prioritizes health over length, that you can see their vision and you trust that they are professional, they're knowledgeable, they're skillful, and all of the above. All of that matters when it comes to this. And like I said before, hopefully more conversations will happen between customers and stylists, and we can come together and bridge the gap of trust and really stop making these things like a trim be such a traumatic experience for us as Black women. I know we all have our horror stories, we all been through a lot, but hopefully hairstylists are listening. If you're a hairstylist, definitely leave in the comments down below if what are your solutions or what are your approaches when it comes to trimming Black women and our beautiful curly hair. I'm also curious to know what the community thinks overall. What are your opinions about this topic? Do you agree that a trim is a haircut? Do you disagree? Any and all thoughts are welcome. There's no right or wrong answer, and I don't police the comments, so everyone is welcome to give their perspective. Also, at the time of this video, we are 885 people away from the goal of 10K. And at 10K, we will definitely be doing a giveaway. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell another friend. It's Liddy over here. Drop any ideas you have about what the 10K giveaway should be, because your girl is brainstorming and I'm trying to figure it out. Also, on the way out, definitely check out the bio. So many cool things going on the channel. But this is the end of this video. So until next time, see ya.